Welcome to Newark Academy's Coach's Corner, another edition for you. And this edition is from the fall, and it's with one of our head coaches from the fall, our cross-country coach, very successful season, Sarah Guelich. Coach Sarah, welcome. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. The first one being, whereabouts did you begin your coaching career, and why did you become a coach?
I started my coaching career right here at Newark Academy. I did start it with softball, though. I started out as a middle school softball coach. And I started coaching because, unlike many of our coaches, I am not a teacher. And so I didn't have interactions with students on a normal basis. And working in a school, part of the great part about that is the students. So I wanted in on that. So I was asked to coach middle school softball, and I happily joined. Coach Bona was the head middle school softball coach at the time. And then I transferred over to cross country at the request of Coach Oleski. He knew I was a runner and he thought I'd be a good addition to the team. And it's a crossover that I am very, very happy I made.
That's great. So tell us, you mentioned Coach Oleski. Have there been any mentors that you've seen or been coached by in the past that you may have modeled your coaching style after?
Both Coach O's, so Mr. Coach O and Mrs. Coach O. Again, I started coaching with the two of them, and they amazed me. They amazed me, their dedication to the students, and just how much time they put in and what they could see in each individual athlete and how they were able to look at the differences, but get the same result from a kid, which was dedication, commitment, and a love of running. So many of their athletes went on to try things that they inspired because they're athletes of their own regard, and they have inspired our students to become triathletes, and they definitely have been my mentors and who I model my coaching after.
So tell me, what do you look for, Coach, in the ideal student athlete, especially in the sport of cross country?
I will not speak as if cross country is the only tough sport. I think all of our sports are tough, but running is very mentally challenging. And so I look for runners or for athletes who are willing to push themselves past their limit. It's so easy to give up on yourself and tell yourself you can't do it or that you're giving it your all in a race. 3.1 might sound short to some, or even finishing in 15 minutes or 16 minutes might seem like it's not a long race. But when you're out there for those 16 plus minutes, it's a long time. And so they need to have the mental ability to tell themselves that they can keep pushing themselves, that they can go faster, and that hopefully they can pass one more student to put them in a place higher. So it isn't their speed. Some of my favorite athletes that I've seen over the years might not be our fastest runners, but it's those students that never give up on themselves and are willing to finish our practices, because we have some tough workouts as well. And if they can put in the effort to finish, no matter what their finishing time is, they're gonna win me over.
So talk to me a little bit about, let's just carry on in that vein. So what sort of values do you instill in your athletes that run cross country?
I ask them to not give up. I ask them to give themselves the positive. This was something I actually got from the Oleskis, but it's important that they support themselves in the same way that they would support their teammate. So many athletes and individuals, not even athletes, are really nice to other people, but when it comes to themselves, they can be their worst enemy. So something I try to instill is that they give themselves their congratulations. They give themselves their pat on their backs. They tell themselves when they're running or practicing or doing whatever it is that they're doing, that they got it, that they are stronger than whatever it is that they're trying to do.
Tell me a little bit, I know that we're in 2021 now. Tell me a little bit how your program has been impacted and how you've handled and dealt with the difficulties and complexities of what 2020 brought us.
We were really lucky compared to our spring athletes in the fact that we got to have a season. And while we were a few weeks shorter than we normally are, and we missed out on some of our pretty, exciting races. We got to have a season, and I like to think of that as a success. But we normally start our season in New Hampshire with a huge bonding experience and just some great training time and beautiful scenery. It's something that I think all of our cross-country runners look forward to. I know I missed it. I know Coach McCall missed it. We were really upset when we had to cancel it because it's one of our highlights of our season. But we missed that, and we brought some games back to Newark Academy and started our season off strong. And once the season did start, it also proved to be a little bit different because our boys and girls raced on different days. And while boys and girls cross country are two different teams, we practice together and we are normally at races together. And so they have so many people supporting them. And to be at our contest this year, you looked out to our starting lines and our finishing lines, and the support that our students normally have and are able to give one another was not there. So I think that those were two of the biggest challenges we faced. But we did have a successful season. We got to run in all of our races. We didn't have to cancel any of them. And our students stepped up and they did what we asked them to do. We might have had to remind them a few times about masks, but they were good about it. And they knew that they were lucky, and we tried to remind them of that on times they forgot. But we got to have a season, and I think I can speak not only for myself, but for the whole team when I say that we're really happy to be able to say that.
A prospective student athlete looking to join Newark Academy, why should you do that?
Well, I can't speak for all teams, but I can speak for Newark Academy, and I think this is true across the board when it comes to athletics. But to come to Newark Academy and join the team or not, but it's a great community. I think our students support one another. They help one another, and you're going to find more than just a school when you come here. You're going to find, I think, lifelong friends. You're going to find coaches and teachers and just all around people who are there to make your 4 years, or if you're coming in middle school, your 7 years, a really enjoyable experience.
And Coach, our final question for you is, what piece of advice would you give to a young coach who's just starting their coaching career?
Look at each student as an individual. You can come into a season or on with a plan or with who your ideal athlete might be, and who you're presented with or what the season looks like might be completely different, but that doesn't mean that your season is lost or ruined, or that the athlete you're presented with might not be. It could still turn out to be your star athlete if you're willing to alter your plans and to look at everybody as an individual and work with them from where they are.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I did want to, as I've done with all the other coaches, give you the last word. If there's anything else you'd like to give you that opportunity, and then we'll leave it at that.
I think this is the toughest question. No, I want to pass along my gratitude for getting to be a coach here at NA and getting to work with so many wonderful students and athletes over the last 7 years.